today for the Bitcoin price with the one and only DaVinci J15. We are back here in Dubai together finally. You smashed up the like button, so he actually came to Dubai. We are delivering on our promises here. And today we are going to talk about the Bitcoin price future for this year and why it actually changed today. Why this crazy theory of $1.2 million per Bitcoin, which was a little bit weird just a few weeks, just a few months ago, now is even a year ago, yes, it's now actually getting a very realistic one. We will talk about the exact price targets for this year and our updated game plan. Guys, I can tell you one thing. The news we are going to share today in this video are news you certainly do not want to be missing out on. So make sure you watch this video until the very end. You sit down, you scroll on, and you once again smash up the like button to an absolute all-time high. My video yesterday got like 20,000 likes, so let's get this one again. Thank you so much for all your support. Leave your comments down below. And now I wanted to come finally to the most important question of today. DaVinci J15, how are you doing today, my man?
In Dubai, 5 by 5.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I'm doing very well, man. And I mean, what a great day to talk about Bitcoin today. No matter what the price action does, if you just look 6 months back, man, it's going very well. And first of all, I wanted to ask you, DaVinci, why do you think that now actually things are different? Now, usually we are saying, okay, people are saying things are different, and in the end of the day, it's still happening. So many people are saying we need these big pullbacks. We need another big 50% pullback before Bitcoin is finally going to the potential all-time high of this bull market. Why do you think, first of all, we are not going to see any of these crazy pullbacks like 45%, even 75% in 2013 before we are reaching the all-time high, before we are going into the specific price targets and the crazy news you want to share with us today?
Well, you know, everybody hates it when somebody says this time's different, right? It's like, yeah,
it's never different.
It's never different, right? And unfortunately, it is this time's different. And the reason why, I'm going to give you my explanation of why I think this time different. There's a lot of it to explain, right? One, let's look at what the Federal Reserve is doing, right? They've already started printing at 25%, and they continue up higher and higher. You've seen the charts everywhere, right? The charts are like off the scale from the 2008. Looks like a small blimp. Even that was massive. And so that is one reason, right, why this time's different. Like, for example, let's just say you were in Zimbabwe, right? And you're going, well, you know what? I'm going to invest in the dollar because I think the dollar is going to outpace the Zimbabwe dollar because this time's different. And people would go, hey, what are you, nuts? Right? But yeah, you would have done extremely well. Just holding just dollars, not to mention gold or any other asset, basically. You wouldn't want to actually even invest it in a company in Zimbabwe, because it was you can't outpace, you can't get the growth you need to outpace the inflation in a company, right? So looking at a company, for example, let's just say I want a cash flow from a company, right? Okay, fine, that's fine. This is what a lot of people want to do. They want to do cash flow. Okay, so what do you need in order for, based on the inflation rate, meaning not what the numbers say on the CPI or CPI.
Consumer Price Index.
Right? Not on those things, those numbers, but based on the increase in the money supply, right? You would need something to earn you a cash flow of 25 to 30% per year, right? Just to even break even. Just to break even.
It's true.
Right? So you need something like a lot. It gives you like 35, 40% to say, okay, yeah, that's good. That's a good cash flow. And so it's like, why are you saying, like, because like I'm looking for cash flow assets, right? And I'm like, wait a second here. If I get a cash flow asset and the Federal Reserve printing that much cash, my cash is going to dissipate very fast. The value of the cash is going to dissipate faster than I could use it. So I need to find something that's going to preserve my wealth, and this is Bitcoin. I mean, Michael Saylor has talked about this, right?
Now we are getting to the real point, but continue.
Michael Saylor has talked about this many times. He's pointed this out over and over again, that, hey, you know what? This is like watching for example, you're doing analysis. Let's just say you want to do analysis on stocks. You want to do analysis on a particular asset, and you say, okay, well, this asset or this company or this will do extremely well in this future because they've got like the business and they've got like a revenue to come in and so forth. You're doing all this analysis, but what happens if Godzilla hits that company?
Yeah,
that's not your analysis goes out the window, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is what's happened with when effectively to the currency. Godzilla, which is the Federal Reserve and all central banks around the world, have come and smashed your system, your whole system, with their printing press.
So, but now we have actually people we want in the system to recognize that as well, like Michael Saylor, like Elon Musk. And this is actually what's changing right now. We never had this group of people actually joining the space, right? And I still have a few questions for that. But what actually happened now, and you mentioned that earlier, we not only have these big institutions joining the game, these big peoples. I mean, we have 7,000 billion dollar entities. We have 4,000 billionaires in the world, and those people start to recognize what Bitcoin is, why to buy Bitcoin. And it's not only that they can buy Bitcoin with their cash flow. No, they can lend against it, and this has an infinite potential because lending against it is based on the debt-based system, and well, this goes until infinity. So when you have limited Bitcoin for an unlimited supply of US dollars, sky is the limit. And maybe you can elaborate a little bit on that. So that's why are we not getting these crazy retracements, and why is this price target you mentioned like month ago, people were laughing at you, of $1 million, $1.2 million, whatever it is in the end, like around these numbers,
1.2,
a possible scenario for this bull cycle. I mean, it sounds crazy to even ask that question, but please.
Well, one example, right, is a lot of my members in my group have mentioned that what they're doing, right, is they're buying and holding Bitcoin, and instead of just like doing the Bybit and all the other trades that we're doing on a daily basis, they've decided to just borrow against their Bitcoins. They're taking like either a 20% of their total loan their loan to asset ratios. They're marking it down by 80% and taking that and borrowing it to buy more Bitcoin. Some are going a little bit higher, taking a little bit more risk with 40%, right? But the average is about 20%. And this is what I can tell you. There's a lot of people out there that we don't even know about, right? Because this is all now available. Because in the past, right, like in the last bull run, were you able to borrow against your Bitcoin?
No.
No. In the bull run before? Were you able to borrow?
Definitely not. That one definitely not. Yes.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the thing. That's what you have to understand. We had, I talked about that in yesterday's video. We had Elon Musk and Michael Saylor and PayPal and MicroStrategy basically pumping the price from 9,000 to 60,000. What are 500 S&P 500 companies able to do? What are Nasdaq listed companies able to do? What are $7,000 billion entities able to do with a healthy cash flow, with like a big cash reserve, with a great credit line? Like, the credit lines are insane. Like, I know people that get $100 million credit line for nothing. So you have unlimited fiat currency potentially pumping up an absolutely scarce supply of Bitcoin, the first asset in the history of mankind, which is as scarce as Bitcoin.
Verifiably scarce.
Verifiably it's impossible to manipulate because you don't have a central institution controlling this supply of that. I talked about that yesterday. You have an order book for everything, even for a glass. Demand elastic, supply elastic, and the price as well. So if the demand increases in a capitalistic system, someone comes and produces more glasses. For Bitcoin, it's not possible. The demand increases and the supply stays the same. The only point of regulation is the price. And this is the beautiful thing about that. And this is probably why you are saying $1.2 million in this bull cycle is a possible scenario.
Why would there be a top at all? Then is this next question you might have asked, right?
Yeah.
Why would there be top at all? Well,
but then we have to talk about purchasing power, right?
Well, it's because because of several reasons. One, all the central banks are going to fight against this. They're going to fight against you, trying to exit their system. They're going to, and there's going to be, they're going to use all their tools in their tool shed. And one of the tools is derivatives. right? They already have one, which is the CME or at the CrimeX, right? The COMEX. And so that's one tool. And then of course they're going to implement the ETF, which is another tool that they're going to use. And of course
the ETF marks the end, right?
Yeah, I believe it does. I really do. And then that's one tool that they can use in order to like bring down the price, because as people rush in to these derivative products, they're not actually buying the underlying. They're buying a promise to match the price against the underlying. And so with that, there's no stopping people from buying derivatives. That's not going to happen. Don't think that, oh yeah, people are smart, they're not going to buy derivatives. They will. Don't get it twisted. A lot of people, for example, retirement funds will be buying the ETF. And the ETF will look like solid, look like it's going to have the underlying, but it really won't, because if you read the fine print, it'll have the same thing as a gold ETF, where it says, hey, you know what? If the custodial does not have the asset, that's not our fault.
Yeah, great point, great point. And a good disclaimer for the end, because it's not gonna go up forever. This is not how the markets work. And we are not saying like 100% we are going to reach that price level. The bottom line is, things are changing and Bitcoin is probably going higher than we all thought just 2 years ago. This is the point, and this is actually what we wanted to mention here. Of course, guys, don't forget, man, this guy has a crazy channel. The channel is down below. Subscribe to DaVinciJ15. Of course, we have the DaVinciJ15.com. You get Pandora's wallet and all the good stuff is directly next to our links, where you get $700 bonus for your own trading on Bybit, Phoenix, 2DEX, wherever. The bottom line is, buying and holding will be your road to success for the next 5 years. Have a long time horizon. And if you want to be outperforming the market in the short term, well, you might as well just do so as an experienced trader with a small fraction or so. But I myself not trading with my whole portfolio as well, and it's certainly not recommended for everyone, in my opinion. Thanks for joining us, man. Do you have any last words to share before we are wrapping it up for today?
Always play from a position of strength and do not get wrecked.
Do not get wrecked, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, guys, stay hydrated. Water and lemon. This is what it's all about. And as always, guys, bye-bye.